Hey guys, my name is Julian and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be swapping pickups on this Harley Benton ST-Modern Plus guitar. Okay guys, so here is the deal. This guitar is freaking amazing. I mean, it's just good. I mean, the neck is plays a butter, all right? The frets are really well done. Like the whole craftsmanship on the guitar is spot on. The bridge is probably my favorite bridge out of like any trem bridge. It is that good, guys. But the one thing on this guitar that I don't think is as high as the other parts, all right, as quality, is the pickups. Obviously, you know, guitar bands have to save money somewhere, so obviously they're not gonna make the best pickups. Now, again, guys, they're not bad. The pickups are not bad. If you want to check out, you know, like the unboxing and review of the guitar, check like around 2 months back from this video, right? And you can see like, you know, like kind of like the whole check on the whole guitar. Today is mainly gonna be pickups and tones, right? But it plays great. So, you know, we're gonna change the pickups. I'm gonna change over here 2 ToneRiders, which I had on another guitar, which are amazing pickups. And here I'm gonna use Seymour Duncan JB, right, which I know is a killer pickup already. So I think those are just gonna be really good improvements. Now, guys, over here you can check on the timestamps at the bottom if you're looking maybe to look at the older tones. Maybe you just want to see the new tones. You know, it's up to you. I'll also give my thoughts at the end of the video of the whole change. You know, what I think of the sound, what it sounds like to me in the room. All right, and then also, guys, you know, before we check our tones, I will take my time to, you know, demo like, you know, different sounds with different you know, pedals. All right, and I'll just, you know, it'll be kind of like a long check. So, you know, I always do from low gain to high gain. So if you're looking for like a specific sound, just kind of like look around, you know, again using timestamps. And the reason why I do is because when I'm looking at guitars, I don't want like a 2-second, you know, tone check. I actually want to see, you know, a bit of playing. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play around with all types of different tones, with all of the different pickup configurations, so you can get a good sense of the old sounds and the new sounds. So let's begin just with a clean sound. By the way, I'll be using delay, a little bit of delay and reverb in most of my tones, because that's just kind of the way that I use my tones, guys. So let's see. That is our neck, by the way. All right, let's do our middle. By the way, kind of like those mid positions, those quacky positions, I actually think they sound really nice on this pickup. All right, let's do our middle. Now the middle, guys, is the one that I think lacks kind of the most character out of all of them, at least for me. I don't use that position much, by the way, but still, you know, I heard a lot better tones out of that one. All right, let's do now our, again, the other quacky position with the humbucker and the metal. and our bridge. Now, guys, the bridge I actually think is very well balanced, very well balanced with everything. But I just think it lacks actually a lot of punch. Right now, again, I know it's not like a tele, right? But still, you could definitely get a lot more punch out of like a humbucker in a Strat. And this one, just even though it balances really well, it just feels kind of like soft, right? And what I like on my bridges, I am always thinking like, you know, how close can I get to a tele kind of bridge, right? To something with a lot of bite, a lot of punch. And this pickup sounds nice. Again, it's well balanced, but again, not a lot of punch. Just very kind of like nice, which is not bad. Again, it depends on what you want. Okay, now let's check it out. Let's see. Let's start with a 2 screamer, just to like, you know, start with something kind of low gainish. Let's go back into our neck. As the neck, as you can hear, sounds nice. Again, there's like a little bit of like again, there's like a little piercing high frequency somewhere that I don't like. I like my, you know, my neck's kind of fat and bright, but there's like a brightness to this one that it's like a little bit spiky. This is our middle. Well, not middle, our quacky position, the first one. All right, let's do our middle. And oh wait, let's do our other quacky position with the humbucker. And let's do our bridge. Now, how about just to go on this one, I'll just do a little bit of leads, but I just got this sand-drive pedal, and such a sick pedal, guys. I'm really liking it. It gives me such an amazing lead tone. So let's just do a little bit of lead playing, kind of like, you know, let's clean it up a little bit, not like super heavy leads, just overdriven. let's do our first quad position. Middle. All right, our position, I guess that's 4. I never know which way to name them, but the one with the middle and bridge. And let's do our bridge. Love that pedal. All right, really cool. Now let's see, let's get something a little bit, I guess on the heavier side, guys. So let me get my rat. Check this out. But let's boost it up with the blue strawberry, because that's one of my favorite tones, guys. So good. I love these pedals together. With those two, you could pretty much get so many tones just with those. All right, but check it out. Everything, let's make sure everything's full. Our middle, our 4. Our middle. I said it on the first video, guys, but this bridge is so good. I love this bridge. It's probably my favorite bridge out of any guitar. You know, Floyd or, you know, even Strandberg, it's just perfect, goes right back in tune, feels so smooth, really, really good bridge. I really like it. By the way, our position, yeah, that's our middle and humbucker. And let's do our bridge. Alright, so we got kind of like, you know, higher gain tone again. And let's go to even more gain, guys. Let's see how it handles the gain. Let's go to our Hoyo Uzi. Uzi. All right, and that is as much gain as I'll probably use on any other pedal. That's on the neck. And by the way, guys, this pedal, I did a review on it like 2 weeks ago, and $48 I think it's at right now. Such a good pedal. If you like Marshall tones and a lot of gain, this pedal is the one. I wouldn't really use this, but just, you know, the quacky position, a lot of gain. No, that position always like cleans a lot of the gain, by the way. All right, our middle. All right, let's do our position 4, which is middle and bridge. All right, and let's do our bridge. Alright guys, so here it is. Here are the new pickups on the guitar, just finished. Alright, overall, I'm actually very happy, guys. By the way, something that I did wanted to mention before we check out the tones with this guitar, with these pickups, is that I'm actually very surprised of how good the quality is inside. The wiring, right? You know, I have very expensive guitars. I also have a lot of lower end or cheaper guitars, we say. And the quality of work, which, you know, this is the picture you're going to see right now. The quality of work that you get, they're just, you know, how tight it is, how well put together it is, the cables themselves from the other pickups. Actually, you know, that's the kind of work that you expect from a really high, you know, quality guitar for something pretty expensive. I would say probably above the 1,000, maybe 1,100 range is where you start getting that really nice wiring. And this guitar came with it. So pretty impressed, guys. The only thing that I'm not so sure of is these white covers. They just look too wide for everything else. I might put the Tesla ones, which were the same color as the knobs, or maybe all black. I don't know. I'm still thinking about that. But let's go ahead and check out some tones, and then I'll just give you my overall, you know, impressions. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and check the pretty much same tones, same amp settings, same pedal settings. All right, and then, you know, I'll give you my thoughts on my, you know, overall impressions in the room, but hopefully you guys can hear it too. All right, remember you can check in the tone stamps where it says tones, old or new pickups, if you want to jump around a little bit. Okay, so here we got our clean neck. let's do our in-between position. Let's do our middle. All right, let's do our bridge and middle. And let's do a clean humbucker bridge. Alright guys, so one thing that we already noticed again is that, yeah, this humbucker, I like it more. It is more powerful, alright? It is, but it is not as balanced as the other one, right? The older one was pretty balanced, so they'll fit in pretty nicely. With this one, it does sound a lot fatter, a lot honkier, alright? But then again, it also sounds more punchy, and I kind of like that. So even though the other one was more balanced, I do like this one because it just has overall better tone. Just has like a bit more body. That one was kind of thin, and yeah, it just has again a little bit more power. It has like a bit more punch, which was missing on the other one. Okay, now let's go ahead and check our tube screamer, Ibanez tube screamer. All right, let's see what we got here on the neck. Let's do our middle. All right, let's do our in between bridge and middle. All right, and let's do our bridge. All right, let's do our send drive, guys. I forgot to do that one. Let's see how the lead tone is with the send drive, because with the other ones, it was pretty good. All right, but then again, this pedal, this rocks, okay? All right, in between. Let's do our middle. Middle and bridge. And let's do our bridge. All right, pretty good on this one. I do feel that I need to change the settings a little bit because these pickups are fatter. Definitely they're fatter. Definitely they get a bit more punch. So I have to actually maybe lower some of that fatness down out of the, whatever pedal I'm using. All right, but let's go ahead and see one of my favorite combinations, right? The blues driver with the rat. Right now, blues driver by itself. Rat by itself. Now both of them together, which is again one of my favorite lead tones. love that tone. Love those two pedals together. In between. Middle. All right, our middle and bridge. And our bridge. So guys, as I said before, by the way, something I forgot to say, and I'll say it at the end again, just in case. I did not put the Simmer Duncan over here. This is actually a Suhr SH-4, which I had, in my closet, and I didn't know I had it, and I just wanted to try that one out. But man, that pickup is really good. That one actually came with my Strandberg Progressive, and it's a great pickup. I was looking for the power, and there it is, guys. That's kind of the, the power I was talking about. It's just nice, punchy, more powerful of a pickup. All right, and let's end it with the Joyo Uzi. All right, this is as high gain as it's gonna get as far as the gain. All right, let's do our in between. All right, our middle. Our middle and bridge. I actually enjoyed that position for playing leads. Sounds really nice, especially with these two pickups. And let's do our bridge. All right, guys. So I know it's a pretty long video, guys, but since I'm doing all of this work and doing all these changes, I did wanted to just get as much as I could out of it, and also for you to be able to listen, to things, for some time, and just kind of like, see what your thoughts are. So now in the room again, hopefully that translates to, the recording onto YouTube. Again, I'm not mixing or anything like that. I'm just playing and recording. All right, but what do I notice, guys? So again, the older pickups, right, the Teslas were really good in the sense that they were very balanced with each other. All right, very good job on doing that. Very balanced, but they lacked power. All right, they actually had some good highs, but they had like a piercing frequency somewhere that I didn't like, that was just kind of like shooting out of all of the pickups. Right now with these ones, guys, I am way more happy. And then, I'm 100% going to use this guitar way more now, because the only thing holding me back from using it more was just kind of the pickups, because the guitar itself is, as I said, wonderful. Right, so what do I notice in difference from these ones to the old ones? These ones have a fatter sound. By the way, these are ToneRiders, all right, which are great pickups right there. I don't know how expensive they are right now. I couldn't even find them anymore on Amazon, but when I got them, they were like cheap, but they were known for being just really good, and they're amazing pickups. I had them in 2 different guitars already, and they always sound killer. All right, so they're fatter sounding. They have a sweeter high end, so maybe they have a little bit high end, and they don't have that little shrill frequency that's somewhere around there. But they still have highs, like like a single coil, but they have like this fat sound, which is what I want from my Strat. I like Strats to sound fat, but have like kind of like sweet and nice highs, right? But not like overbearing, kind of like piercing highs. So that's what I get with these pickups, and with all of them, guys, I also get a lot more punch in every single position. It just feels that there's more power. It just feels like there's more, yeah, just more strength going into like everything, and that's the kind of sound that I like. I like kind of like punchy sounds. So the other ones were, again, nice. They just sounded a little too soft, have way too much highs, and were not beefy enough. And these guys are kind of, in a way, they fix all of those things. So I'm pretty happy with the change. All right, but let me know, guys, in the comments, what you guys heard, what you guys thought. Are you considering this guitar? I know many people are because of price. And to be honest, guys, I recommend this guitar. There are other Harley Bentons I don't recommend. Maybe I'll do one on the normal ST Strat, like on the normal one, right? Because that one actually had quite a few problems, right? So maybe I'll do a video on that. But, if you're like in the budget for a really amazing guitar, you don't want to spend a lot of money. And again, I am not affiliated with Harley Benton, by the way. I recommend this guitar. At least for me, it's just what an instrument, guys. So, that's what we got for today. All right, so I'll talk to you guys next time.